Hi everyone, we meet again in the series of Rise Your Speech to the Next Level, brought to you by Surabaya Toastmasters Club, and I am Jonathan, is your host for today. Today we are going to talk about how to end a speech. Yeah, how to end a speech. As we all know that we usually create a bang when we are opening a speech. But don't forget, if we close a speech with not a bang, then people are going to forget about your speech. So, to end a speech is as good as important as opening a speech. Today, I'm not going to talk about this topic alone. I'm going to be accompanied by our senior Toastmaster, DTM Rina. Hi, Rina.
Hello, Jonathan.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm great. How are you?
Okay, now it's time for the listener and audience to know how important to end a speech. What do you think about this topic, Rina?
You need to remember that, okay, your topic now is how to end a speech, but you also need to remember that the beginning and ending of your speech are both held the same importance. Right? The beginning is where you grab the audience attention and ensure they listen to the rest of your speech. The conclusion or the ending give you a chance to leave a lasting impression that listeners take away with them. So both of them brings the same importance.
Yeah, that's what I thought about it. However, sometimes I have a certain difficulties to end a speech because I do not know whether I should end it with a bang. Because if we end it with a bang, I am afraid that the climax of a speech will in chaos. Because usually I felt that it is better to have a climax of a speech in the middle of the speech. After that, closing it with a certain conclusions. And how should we end it, Rina? What is the
Okay.
trick and tips to end it so people can remember? At least remember, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Before we are going into the how to close, what you need to see first is the criteria of the conclusion. First, you need to make sure that your speech is about to end. There's a sense of closure. So people, when people listening to a speech, people need and expect a closure. That means, say, like when you're saying in conclusion, so people then will think, oh, okay, this is about to end. Or probably when you say, let me end it by saying this and that. Or probably you say, in summary, so then people will wake up and then start to listen. That's the time when you make an impact. And when you are already in a signal that you will about to close your speech, then take less than 5 to 10% of the entire speech time. Don't make like your ending take longer than expected because people will expect something. Oh, okay, Jonathan, you about to finish your speech, but you keep on going on and on and on. Then the closing is longer than the body of the speech as well. So that's the criteria for your conclusion or closing. But there are also several closing techniques that you need to apply when you are about to finish your speech. There are some of them. Yeah, techniques. The first, there are some of them, but I would like to share with you some of my favorites. Use a quotation. For example, you want to quote some words from Steve Jobs, for example. So you say, Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So that's quotation. Or probably you want to give a call for action. For example, you say, tell your children you love them and are concerned for them. Talk with your children. So it's a call for action. And then you can use a rhetorical question. For example, can we do that? Or do you want to do that? Or you don't want to do that? So it's a rhetorical. And then the easiest way that people usually do is to summarize your main point. So you're going to refer back to the beginning of the speech and then make a summary out of it. So that's some of the techniques how to close your presentation or your speech.
You just mentioned close with what is it, CTA? Call to action. Call to action.
Yes.
I think it is. I already heard about that when we are doing sales. But my question is, what is the best situation when we can use quotation?
Everything that I just mentioned, it depends on what sort of a
What
speech.
kind of speech? Yes. What kind of speech that is the best using quotation to end it?
Yes. Because if you want to deliver some things that is inspirational, that's the best time when you use a quotation, especially when the quotation is related to the topic that you share. Actually, quotation can also be used for other, not only for inspirational, but when you want to call for action, how do you call that? If you want to go call for an action, you can also use a quotation for a closing. Some things like, your time is limited, so don't waste it living on somebody else's life.
That's great. Yeah. I can feel it here. Yeah. When you say that, I can feel the feeling, the emotion from the quotation, and then urge me to do something. Is that what you mean by using call to action and combining with quotation? Steering of the audience emotion to do something, yeah.
Yes, because actually quotation is one of my favorite. I used to have a list of quotation, and quotation itself, sometimes if it's mentioned by a correct person or famous person, the other two quotation that I just share with you, both are from Steve Jobs. So if it's coming from the famous people, usually people like having it easily to absorb that and remember that in their mind, because who doesn't know Steve Jobs?
Yes. People like to listen to higher people, higher authority people, right? Someone that already done everything. Someone already in the top of the pecking order, something like that. What should we expect a clap or a standing ovation when we end a speech to know that our speech end well? What do you think?
Naturally, people will clap, and doesn't matter whether your speech is good or not. Usually, they automatically be there, unless your speech is completely awful. You still hear a claps, although probably it's like a lot less. But you can expect that, especially when your speech is like giving a very good impact to them. You don't need to wait until you finish your speech when the audience claps their hands. You can have that in the middle or at the beginning of the speech. It can be anytime. People do that automatically, so you don't need to worry about having people clap their hand. But expecting a standing ovation, you don't need to expect that to high too much.
Besides clapping and standing ovation, what kind of clues we can get from the audience to so we know that our speech end well?
Actually, when you have a look on them during speech, it's not only the end, but during the speech, is that they really giving attention to you. Just like what I said to you on the other podcast, that if the audience starting say like having a look on their cell phone or start to chit chat with the others, that's the time when you have to grab their attentions back. But if you didn't see people paying attention in the middle of your speech, but they giving attention only at the end of the speech, that's the time when you actually have to review your speech, because when people start to listen to you at the end of the speech, meaning that they expect you to finish your speech quickly.
Yeah. So, last question, Rina. How can we manage our emotion if the audience do not clap, do not give us standing ovations, and seems that they are bored, and it will give us a bad feedback right from the audience? How can we? What is the correct mindset so we can try again?
We have to keep going on with our scenario. So that means doesn't matter whether they like it or not, but in the end, when you finish your speech, say like when your speech is quite boring, then that's the time when you have to finish that. Because that means that you need to review your speech, and then you have put work into creating and presenting your speech later on. So every time you finish your speech, what you need to do is to review how's your performance when you deliver your speech. If you don't like it, that means that you need to improve that on the upcoming speech that you have.
Yes, correct. And I also have a solution for that. Join Surabaya Toastmaster Club.
Exactly. You
Where
will
you can
learn a lot.
yes.
You will learn a lot there, because people will give you an evaluation and give a suggestion how to make it better.
Yeah. Don't wait until your speech get bad evaluation from real audience, but practice it in an environment where people are supportive and give you positive feedback.
Yes, because your friend will they will say if your speech is bad, they will share their thought. But if it's in a real audience, they're not going to say anything, but they will give a big impact to you.
Yes. So, as what we are discussed today, let's end it with a call to action. Also, people who listen to us, please don't worry about your speech. Call to Surabaya Toastmasters. You can reach us through podcast and through our Instagram. Thank you, Rina, for your time, and
Thank
see you
you.
again in the next sessions or in the other project. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Jonathan. Nice to talk to you.
Yes. See you, everyone. Bye bye.